I want to play my Gibson Les Paul Special. We're going to find out if it's any good. Also, I'm colorblind, so God knows what color this is going to show up in the video. This video isn't like other videos out there where, they talk for 7.5 minutes and then only play for a minute. We're going to be playing this quite a bit, and I'll try to save the yammering for the end of the video. As always, signal chain is listed in the description down below, and there's also chapter markers, so if you want to kind of skip around the video, you can do that. This is also the first Gibson that I've ever gotten that had some manufacturing defects. But enough talking, let's get after it. So you can't do a review on YouTube without talking about the specs, right? So I'm going to try and do that as quickly as I can, and we'll get back to sound samples. So we have a slab mahogany body. So when I say slab mahogany body, it's like a regular Les Paul body. However, it doesn't have the carved maple top attached to it. We also have a mahogany neck that has the 50s chunk neck profile to it. A bound rosewood fretboard with the dot inlays. The inlaid Gibson logo along with the silk-screened Les Paul Special logo. We have the Gibson Vintage Deluxe tuners with the smaller buttons here. And on a side note, these are not the vintage size. These are the regular size, so they're not the smaller vintage ones. So if you wanted to upgrade the tuners or change the tuners or what have you, you can do that with the modern sizing. We have the wraparound bridge here. Not the lightning bar. I'm not the biggest fan of the lightning bar, so this I believe they call the non-compensated wraparound bridge. We have 2 volume and 2 tone in the form of CTS audio taper potentiometers. This also has the orange drop capacitors, which, as we all know, only come into play when you roll back your tone. A 3-way toggle switch, and that controls the 2 P90s. That's enough about the specs. Here's 5 more sound samples. So now that we've heard the 5 sound samples here, let's do something here, because this is the internet. If you're not aware, we are on the internet. This is the internet, so there's a certain thing that I have to do in each video, otherwise people will cry, and they'll leave their tears in the form of comments. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna play in clean. There's a lot of benefit to that. But I'm gonna play in clean in the bridge, the middle, and then the neck position. So here's that. Personally, I've always found a little more benefit, again, personally I say, to me, if you do that, but you play it with a little bit of light drive. So here's the exact same thing I just played with some light drive. So as I stated earlier, we do have the CTS potentiometers, the audio taper ones, and then the tones have the orange drop capacitors. So let's go ahead and take a listen to those. And again, I can't reiterate enough that the orange drop capacitors, which are not expensive, by the way, like $6 Canadian each. But those capacitors, they only come into play when you dial back on your tone. So let's go ahead and listen to the potentiometers. For a lot of people, you may be wondering what the difference is between the Gibson Les Paul Special and like a regular Gibson Les Paul. So again, I said this is a slab mahogany body. Well, here is a slab mahogany body with the carved maple top. There's definitely a large difference here. When it comes to, this is non-weight relieved as well. This is non-weight relieved too. But there's a lot more weight to this guitar than there is to this one. This has still got good weight to it and everything. But that's really what I'm talking about when I say slab mahogany body. We also have a tune-o-matic with a stop bar versus the wraparound tailpiece. The biggest difference obviously is going to be P90s against humbuckers. So let's go ahead and just take a really quick listen to the bridge, middle, and then the neck positions. Now Les Pauls really started out with P90s. A lot of people don't really talk about that, which by the way, if someone wants to send me like a 52 with the P90s and the trapeze with the wraparound tailpiece, bucket list guitar, so I'll give you my address. Don't worry about it. It'll be a P.O. box or something. Anyway, you can definitely still get guitars with the P90s in them. A lot of times it's just like the 50s style and stuff like that. But if you are curious, this is a 2018 Gibson Les Paul Classic. It's non-weight relieved and it does have P90s. Both of the P90s here are set at 2.5 millimeters from the pole pieces. There's a slight difference when it comes to the neck pickups here. The neck pickups both are at 2.7 millimeters away from the strings when it comes to the treble side. So there's also, this was made by a different company than this. Well, I mean, they're both made by Gibson. However, a different group owned Gibson than, when this one was made. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of a variance in between the two P90s. I don't know if that is like wraps or what have you, but you'll hear like a slight difference in each. This sort of comes across like it has a little more punchiness to it, I guess you'd say. For the last sound sampled comparison here, I'm going to do a long form video or a longer comparison on these two guitars here. But you may be wondering, Les Paul Special, Les Paul Junior, what's really the difference? Other than, you know, like the unbound fretboard and the silk screened logo and stuff like that. The big difference obviously is the fact that we get a neck pickup here. You don't have a neck pickup here. There's definitely a weight difference as well. This is definitely a heavier guitar than this. I'm not putting them on scales, man. That's just not me. But there's definitely a noticeable difference. This is noticeably heavier than this one. The other big difference here is this has a dog-eared P90, which a lot of people seem to prefer over, you know, a body-mounted. Well, they're both body-mounted, but you know what I mean. This isn't pickguard mounted P90, but this is a mounted difference. You know, less dog in it. I don't know if there's maybe more vibration because of the way that it's mounted to the body in comparison to this one. I'm not quite sure, but those are really the spec differences. The big thing here is you're going to do a lot more tone searching on this guitar than you will on this, which I find to be a major benefit. So basically you're going to... It's the best way that I can put it. You'll spend a lot more time playing this, getting the tones that you like, and you're basically, when you play this one here, you're more likely, doesn't mean that you will, but you're more likely to just use the available pickup positions rather than playing around with the tone controls for the like everyday guitarist, I guess you would say. So those are really the differences here. So what I'd like to do, I'll just do a really quick one where I play the regular pickup positions here, and then I'll probably do, what I like on this is actually, so regular for the bridge, and then what I do is I generally dial back to about 8 on the tone here, and then I end up bringing the volume to about 9.5, just a little down. And then that's for the middle position type sound. And then for like something sort of like the neck, I bring this to 9 on the volume, and then just about 3.5 to 4 on the tone control. Now this is generally the portion of the video where I go right into saying like, hey, those are all the sound samples. Let's talk about if this is a good guitar or not. But I mentioned something at the start of the video that I do want to address, and I want to address my reaction to it as well. So this is the first Gibson that I've ever had that's had like a manufacturer's defect. On the tribute special that I have, the white one, the one that I call the powdered white donut, that one had a little bit of like color bleed from the rosewood fretboard into the neck. That's just character to me. I don't really want to say that that's a manufacturer. That's not a big deal to me. But this one here has 3 issues, we'll call them. And these issues here would be something that, from what I've read in comments here, would be, you know, grounds for I'm sending it back and I'm complaining to the high heavens about Gibson and everybody. I believe this is 2 manufacturer's defects and then something that happened in the store. So let's talk about it here. Manufacturer's defect, number 1. We're looking at the way that they sprayed the headstock. Maybe it wasn't taped off enough, but there's like a little bit of, it's not really clean. I don't care about that at all. That does not affect playability of the guitar. I notice it if I look for it. And the second manufacturer's defect here, on the 15th fret, there's actually some like markings here. So like it feels like a little bit of tool indentations. So I don't notice it unless I rub it directly. And then the third defect here, this I believe happened at the store. It might be manufactured, but I believe this happened at the store. So basically where it hangs on like off the wall or what have you, it feels like they used like the rubber ones and it was yanked off the wall quite a few times, or they used a non-rubber one or a non-soft rubber one or something like that, where, you know, where it was hanging, it was hard against the neck. And the 2 indentations here, like that just happened from pulling it off the wall. So I had the option of just saying, okay, well, you know what? Let's send this one back. And then within a week, I would have the exact same color guitar and everything like that that didn't have those issues. But I played this guitar after seeing them. I don't care. It does not bother me at all. That means you're not going to see me on like message boards or other people's videos complaining about how there's something wrong with this guitar. A lot of people, it's funny, what I find is the people that complain about, they say, oh, I would never buy a Gibson, I only buy Ibanez or headless guitars or whatever, those things. The people that say I would never buy a Gibson, it's a grandpa guitar, are the same people that leave the comment of, oh, I had to return my Gibson because the neck was twisted. I will never buy Gibson again. If you leave 6 comments, 5 of them are, I would never buy a Gibson, they're grandpa guitars, and then the 6th comment is, I had to return my Gibson because the neck was twisted. You don't make sense. So now let's talk about whether this is a good guitar or not. And like I said, I wasn't returning this guitar when I got it. So this is a good, great, fantastic guitar. Has what a lot of people, maybe my age, I don't know, you know, look for in a guitar. It has mojo. It has something that when you hang it up on the wall or in the rack or on the stand or whatever, you have that thought of, I can't wait to pick it up again. It inspires you to play. That's what I look for in my guitars. And that's really what this has. And for me, the big thing here is that it has the, I believe it's called the non-compensated wraparound. So it's not the lightning bar. I don't hate the lightning bar, but I do notice the difference. It's a lot smoother bending when you're playing leads on this than it is with the lightning bar. The lightning bar, I do find from time to time you'll feel, you won't really hear, but you'll feel that little plink of the string moving on the bar. That's just something that I've noticed. I have a few guitars that have the lightning bar, and the P90s on here have a lot of punch to them. That's really what P90s are known for. I find that they're really spanky on the bridge, and on the bridge here I would tend to dial back my tone a little more than say a humbucker, which I very rarely roll back the tone on my bridge, but I generally do on the neck position, especially if I'm in the middle position, then I'm dialing back the volume on the neck a little and dialing back the tone on the neck a little. And again, the neck is comfortable here. We do have the little fret nubs on the bound fretboard, and it is just really smooth when you're playing it. But I don't want to yammer on absolutely too much, so suffice it to say, this is a fantastic guitar. But as always, don't just blindly buy it. Just go to the store if you have that option. If it is available in the store, go and play it. Then play a whole bunch of other guitars, and that'll really solidify what guitar you might want to buy. Anyway, thanks for watching.